Hi friends, welcome to our video. In this video I will give you in detail a process how we can set up an MCP server, and then before that I will explain what is MCP and what problem it solves, and then step by step process how we can set up and then integrate with our own AI system. So before that I'll give you an overview like what we are going to achieve today. So I have an cloud desktop open, and I do have a MCP server, SQLite MCP server, which can able to access SQLite database within my system, and then it is provided with a set of tools so that it can use those tools and provide the required answer. So I'm asking a question. Which in turn it has to go through the database and retrieve the answer. So it is asking for the permission. Let us see. Yeah. So it is asking like these are the tools I'm going to use, and asking permission for this chat, like we need to give the permission. Then it goes and connects to the database and fetches the orders. So I'm asking a detailed view about that one. So I'm just asking the continuation. So give me a detailed report. Let us see how it behaves. So it running the query on the database. So it thinks and then shows the query like and what it has to do, and then the query it has to run, and finally let us see how it prepares a report. So this is all running within my system. I created a simple MCP SQLite server. This and also a sample database. So it is analyzing like it goes further beyond, like in order to prepare a report, it is going with the orders, customers, destinations, top shipping destination, all these things. Let us see how the report comes. Even it goes to the employee performance as well. So I don't know, like maybe it is a sales employee. Oh, so this is so cool. You can see like it gives an executive summary based upon even it gives the sales performance. So all these are achieved using just a simple MCP server, and then a database which is running locally. I will explain what is MCP and how we can leverage the concept of MCP in order to accomplish our task. This is so comprehensive. See, I just asked like give me a detailed report. This is so comprehensive, like it gives each and every detail where we can take actions based upon this. Yeah, so I finally completed the report creation. If you can see this one, the structure and the presentation here. So the performance analysis, I just asked, if you see the query here, give me a detailed report. My first question was, can you list number of orders in 2023? That's it. And then give me a detailed report. So for based upon this, it created a most comprehensive report. So it gives an executive summary, and then monthly order distribution, sales performance over the year, and then how many orders, average order item value, and customer ID, company name, orders, and total spent. So this is so detailed. So I didn't give any extra prompt or extra tools, whatever it is there, which is already given by Anthropic Claude, only that code I used. Apart from that, I didn't do any fine tuning or any prompting. So even with that, we can able to achieve this. And also one more thing I want to highlight here is that if we can able to additionally give some tools like accessing our own file system, and then a tool which can able to convert this particular report into a PDF or a Word document, then directly we can use it for the presentation or any meetings. So this is what I want to show you. Like I will go through step-by-step process how we can achieve this one, and yeah, let us see. We will discuss what is MCP. So it is a called as Model Context Protocol, proposed by Anthropic last year, I think November. So we will discuss in detail about MCP. So M stands for models. Models in the sense like large language models. It can be any model, OpenAI, Gemini, Mistral, even Hugging Face open source model. So here M stands for the model and C stands for the context. Like if the context is the important thing, where if you give a correct context to the model, and you can expect a correct answer. So that is the thing. So C stands for the context and P stands for the protocol. So protocol, how it has to behave and how it can be integrated, and it is a unified protocol. So it can be portable to any LLM, so that that defines a set of rules and how it can be done. Okay, so now it gives three context primitives, like especially in the context. If you see, this is the important thing. If you give the correct context, definitely the LLM will give you correct answer. So what are the three context primitives we have? Sorry, four context primitives we have, although the third one and fourth one we don't use much right now. So it has tools and resources. So if you see the video, what the part what I have shown, like how it queries the database and fetches the relevant context. So that is nothing but we have a set of tools in that particular MCP server, where it can use those tools or and query the database and get the relevant context. So that is tools. And resources. So resources can be anything, like it can be a PDF document or any resource that is helpful in the context. That is these are all tools and resources. And then sampling is not much used, like it is querying other models. And then prompt templates. So prompt templates also we can hook up, so that based upon the requirement, it can use the specific prompts, and then it goes and gets the answer or gives the correct answer. So these are the four context primitives we have. And you can see the simple a block diagram which is proposed by Anthropic. So it has, even though it shows MCP client and MCP server, there is one more thing called host, where actually the host has the MCP client, and then the client will communicate with the MCP server. So here our host is Claude desktop, and inside that we have the client, and then client will get exposed to connect to MCP servers. So the client will invoke the tools or queries for the resources, or interpolate for the prompts, but generally we didn't have that here now, but we have only tools and resources, and it connects to the MCP server, which is exposing the tools and resources for the MCP client. Okay, so we saw what are tools, what are resources and prompts. Now if you see, we have so what problem it solves actually. For example, if you have a MCP server, like what we have discussed previously, SQLite database. So now this one is connected or exposing the certain set of tools and resources to the connected client. So the client can ask, like, what are the things you have, and then the MCP server exposes, oh, these are the things I have, tools, and these are the resources I have. If it has prompts, and you can say these are the prompts I have, so you can use any of these. So based upon that, because every time the query may change. For example, for certain for example, if a user asks a query like, I want to see their number of sales for the 2023, then based upon the tools exposed, it can pick one tool, like either querying the database, we can also do updates, deletes also, but I didn't show here. So it can query the database and then get the results. This is one tool exposed. For example, this same analogy we can compare with API. So why don't we use API? So API, there are a lot of restrictions, and you need to as a developer, you need to code, or you need to create an interface for each and every specific APIs. So for example, it expects a certain set of structure while asking the while invoking that API. But in MCP, it is not like that case, because it is more flexible. It is a reflection, what we call it as a reflection principle, where the MCP client goes and contacts the MCP server, like what are the tools you have. So it exposes all the tools. So from that it can pick, and it is more flexible. So that is how it is differentiated from the API and the MCP server. So, and it is more flexible, and also less work for a developer. For example, there are a lot of tools already developed, and just they can leverage those things and then put it into their code or in their app, and then they can expose this to the clients. I will show you like how exactly it is done in the next part. This is the GitHub repo where we can find servers. This is the official repo for Model Context Protocol provided by Anthropic. So now if you can see here, we have a lot of reference servers like GitHub, GitLab, Google Drive, Google Maps. So you can just use this reference server, or you can use the same server according to your need. And then if you want to add some more tools which is not available, then you can code the tool and then put it there and then run the server. It will work as you expect. So these are the reference server. So from here only I got a SQLite. So I will show you like what actually it is. So they given a detailed documentation what are the tools it have. For example, this particular MCP server has read query, write query, create table. This I never tested it. Schema tools, so list tables. Whenever we ask what are the tables it has, it goes to it has this particular tool. So how it knows? For example, every time your query will be dynamic. For example, let us assume that you have only one MCP server in your system, and that MCP server SQLite database, SQLite MCP server hooked to a database which can communicate with your database. Now, for example, if you're asking a query what are the sales during that period, specific year, it has to go and pick the tool. So how it picks the tool? So MCP exposes like these are the tools I have. Whatever the tools you need, you can take. So this is how it exposes to the client. So the client can pick the specific tool. It is not rigid. So it will be dynamic. So it can use any specific tool based upon the user query or the context, and then it gives you the answer. So if you ask to get the details from the database or read the tables, it can ask a read query. If you want to update it, it can use the write query. So these are the things. And if you ask what are the tables available, then it goes and pick the tool list table. So this is so dynamic based upon the user query and the context of the situation or the scenario. So this is how it differs from the regular API, and it is so flexible. And this is the setup how we can do. So now if you want to like these are the tools it exposes, and if you want to have this server in your system, then you need to just follow this. You fork the repo and have the code, and then give this particular configuration in your client. So once you give this configuration to your client, it picks up and then it runs the server, and then it can able to access. So the client can directly communicate with the MCP server and then access the tools whatever it has. So now you can see here MCP servers and SQLite command UV. So how it can initiate, and then the directory. So where actually this particular file is located. So this is nothing but a Python file. If you go and see here. So this is the file. So it has to initiate. So this is going to be Anthropic, and with the tools what I have shown. So it has to initiate this one and then run it. So once it runs, then it can able to communicate with the server. So this is the configuration setup how you can give. And also see UV to initiate the process, and then where exactly the file is located, and then run. So run command will start this server, and then it has to connect to the database. So which database you have. So you, like for example, if I want to connect to SQL DB, and you have to give the database path where exactly it is. That's it. So simple as this, and the configuration, and with the file if you have, then it will start the server, and the client can communicate with the MCP server. So this is the process, the same process I followed exactly. I will show you in the cursor like how I did it, and how I did the configuration and all. Here I am showing cursor as a client. Previously I have shown Cloud Desktop as a client, but here I am showing the cursor. So if you go to cursor settings, so settings you can find from here, and then go to MCP tab. Here we can add the MCP servers. So now I added two servers. One is SQLite and another one is weather. You just click the same configuration. So here I followed the same configuration how I did for they like how they proposed to do it in SQLite. Same way I also added the weather MCP server, and I do have a weather file, like Python file, which actually the server file. So now we can ask questions on top of this, like let us go with whether MCP server. I'm asking weather related question. Let us see. Okay, so it goes, so calling MCP tool get forecast. So based upon the city, it gets the longitude, latitude, and then gives you the okay, it is asking permission for running each and every tool. Get alerts. Okay, let us see the answer. So it says New York. Okay. Yeah, so now you can see the detailed summary of weather forecast for New York. So I will show you like how actually it does. So it has different tools, and it queries this particular API. So api.weather.go, and then from there only it is getting the actual details. So what is the weather, what is the temperature, all the stuff, and it has different tools. If you can see, this is the definition of a tool: alerts, forecast. You might have noticed that it is fetching the tool, like what tool. First it will get the details like what is the actual query, and then based upon that it will formulate the answer, and then based upon that, okay, so it will decide which tool it has to use. So remember that the MCP servers will expose the tools, like these are the tools I have, so the client can pick the specific tool, and then based upon the tool it will use the tool and get the answer and formulate the final augmented answer. So now in the same chat we will use, because I do have the SQLite MCP server running, and say for I have the same database at the backend in order to connect to this MCP server. In the same chat I am asking the question like we will ask okay, we will ask Q4 2023, sorry. So clearly now it has to query the database. Yes. So it goes to the tool, like it knows like it has to query the database and asking the permission to list the tables. So first it has to find the tables. Okay, it goes and get the tables. Let me structure the describe table. Okay, it is asking describe table. I will make it a little bit bigger. Okay, run tool. I don't know why it is asking again and again. Okay, best performing. It has to query the best performing employee for Q4 2024. First, it has to analyze what is Q4 and then read query. It goes to read query. Like these are the different tools available in the MCP server, and now okay, it is asking Northwind data sample data and not only the data. Let me modify the actual database data engine. Okay. Recent quarter in data 2023. Okay. Run. So this is the query also. We can see what query is actually okay. Okay, so it gives append insight. Okay, I think this is a tool which is already available in the SQLite, where whenever there is a query which is asked about the report or something like that, it can append this one to the insight table. And I think that is the thing, that is why you're asking for append insight. Let me query that one. Okay, so let me see whether it is having query table recorded business insights. Yeah, so list tables. Okay, let me check if there is specific insights table. Okay, okay, so it finds out like it is storing a separate file system. Okay, so that's fine. So this is how we get the actual answer. These are all factual answers. It is not because we are giving the correct context. It is querying the database and then fetching the answers. We saw two examples. One using a weather, where it can query the external API, but that is coded inside that weather Python file. The flow, how it has to do, and what are the tools it is available. And then the second one, the SQLite MCP server, and the SQLite MCP server also different set of tools. Using these tools, it can able to query and then get the data. So now the same thing, like as we discussed in the cloud, we can also use to generate the report. And apart from that, we can add some more MCP servers. For example, if you want to browse your own file system, there is also MCP server. I will show you. So now I will show the file system MCP server, but use it with caution, because we are giving access to the file system. And go to servers, and you can see here there will be file system. Yes. So this is the file system MCP server. It can read and write files, create list directories, move files and search files, and get file metadata, all those stuff. So they give detailed documentation how you can use, and how you have to configure your client in order to use this one. Make sure that you are giving only the, if you are testing also, make sure you are giving only the access to the specific folders which it has to access. Apart from that, don't give anything, because you are literally giving access to your entire file system. So that's one thing. And the basics, like we already discussed, like for an MCP, we need a host which hosts the client, and then that client can communicate with the MCP server. Here the communication, it can be two ways, like either server side events, which is called as SSE. If your server is running somewhere, for example, if it is in the cloud or some other machine, then you can access that one by using server side events. And the other one is standard IO, like STD IO. In our case, like we discussed, both the servers are running locally, so then it is standard IO. So these are the two modes of communicating with MCP servers. So now I think this will give you a overview like what is MCP server and how you can leverage using this MCP server. So this is what I want to show you today. Thank you for watching.